Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's another beautiful day that the Lord has given us an opportunity to meet, to share, to laugh, to joke about life, but again, to learn about how we move with life and how we expand, how we grow, how we thrive, and how we flourish. One thing I believe, and you can never take away from me, is that God has called us to a place of thriving. He has called us to a place of abundancy, and He has called us to a place of plenty. The only thing is, we go through the normal struggles in the world, the normal kind of surviving and the sinking and the fighting and the everything. But if He has predestined, He says He has predestined a good ending, and that ending is that He has come, that He will give us life, and not just life, but life in abundancy. So that means the struggles are normal. They are going to be there. Jesus actually talked about it and said that, yes, I have sinned, I have gone through the struggles, but be strong because I have been strong. I have overcome, so you will overcome. So I know that I am with overcomers. I am dealing with people that thrivers, people that are taking it and taking it by force, people that are unstoppable, people that are not giving in, that are not throwing in the towel when it comes to life, but people that are continuous students of life. All right. And today I just want to go through some of my past thoughts. Okay, today I'm really just sharing some of my past thoughts, since actually this was triggered the other night, maybe 2 nights before. We had a conversation with someone and with a group of people, afterwards with a group of people, and I overheard conversations being talked about. They were talking about a certain couple, and they were talking about a certain woman, and they were talking about a certain man. So while I was eavesdropping, guys, I know that was eavesdropping. While I was eavesdropping, I brought the same conversation. I was like, so I asked the person that I was with, and that was actually my husband. So I asked him, okay, so I think sometimes we need to go back to the basics to actually learn how to be able to select, or some of the virtues that we should be able to pick out amongst the people that we plan on marrying or being with for the rest of our lives. Now, not to say that this show or this chat is just for the people that are single. Yes, the people that are single still have a blank check to fill in and to be able to, to do those things. But even the people that are married, the people that have been married for the past 10 years, for the past 30 years, this is now for you to go back and check the list and say, okay, where am I lacking in this? And where am I lacking in this? And where am I lacking in this? Because the people that I'm talking, that I'm talking to is a person that is called to greatness. Okay, called to greatness. You have something inside of you. Otherwise, I would not be here and you would not be watching this. But the reason as to why you are watching this is because I'm a people developer, and I call out the greatness from inside of you and be able to display it in the world. Whether that is your calling to be a coach, or to be a counselor, or to be a speaker, or to be a business person, whatever it is, you're an executive in a company, but you have a calling to lead, to transform, to help, and to hold people's hands. So I'm not talking to failures. I am not talking to people that do not have a mandate on their lives, or do not have a purpose for their lives. I am talking to people that have a purpose on their life. Now, I will tell you for sure that the devil, just like the Bible says, that he comes to kill, to steal, and to destroy. Now, even when it comes to the people of purpose, actually the devil works over time to the people with purpose, to the people that have been called to help other people, because then he wants to discourage you, to steal and to kill whatever is on the inside of you, that it will never come to a full capacity and maturation that it will feed or help or transform or change the world. Okay, so he would rather kill it from some places. And I will tell you that the biggest battlefield I have seen is in the area of marriage. That someone can be mighty, they can serve God, they can be ministers, they can be teachers, they can be counselors, they can be coaches. And most of these days, when someone is walking down the aisle, I will literally want to put my hands on the head, and I'm like, God, I just hope that whatever they're walking into to is good, because these days people know how to pretend. Okay, they can pretend until, you know, the ring is on their finger, or until they have, you know, taken the vows, and then things will turn the other way around. I have seen so many people that had flourishing businesses when they were single. When they got married, the businesses started going down. I have seen so many people that had glorious ministries when they were single, and then when they got married, everything started going down. I have seen people that had callings to be public speakers, motivational speakers, and they were doing so well. The moment they got into contact with someone and they decided to marry, that also went down. So I have seen so many people at the deciding point who to take into your life, or to who to have into your life, that is a mega turnaround point that can pivot either way, either to the bad side or to the wrong side. Okay, so I just want us to go through some of them, the qualities that I have seen, okay, that I have vividly seen help other people, especially those that started off well when they were single, and now they are married and they are actually still doing so well, and they have no regrets. Okay, and even those, if you're married and maybe there are things that you've been seeing, okay, I don't know how to call it, but this is not right. Sometimes you need to be able to address them, but sometimes you even don't have a voice, or you don't have a proper name for them. So I am going to give you proper names for them so that you can be able to address them. Sit down with a list and say, let's check ourselves. If we're really looking at being together for the rest of our lives, there are certain things that must change, or there are certain things that just do not sit well with me. So now let's reconcile. Let's come up with a system so we can know how to be able to run. Some of us think that systems are in only businesses, and systems are only in personal branding or whatever it is out there, offices, organizations. No, even a marriage ought to have a system on which it runs. Otherwise, it will go off the tracks, and you will never know that it actually has gone off the tracks. And so you will start blaming the other person, and you know, the other person blames you, and so there is nothing that is happening. All right, so when you are going out to get a person, or to find a person, and for me this was very true. The reason as to why I decided to give my husband a chance, when he turned around and he gave this a chance, when he told me that, you know what, Hilda, if you give me a chance and decide to marry me, I will decide for us to get married, or allow for us to get married, I will never disappoint you for the rest of my life. Now, those were not the words that pulled me in. Those were not the words, because I had seen him for more than 15 years, or even more than 15 years before we even got into marriage. So that means I had a track record of him, and the things that he was doing, and the things that, so even when I got hurt, even when things were not so well, for those of you that have followed me or followed us for quite some time, we talk about our story. It's a weird story, crazy story. Like, it's not a straight story. It has a lot of zigzags in the middle. But even when the zigzags were happening, even when he decided to turn around and say, you know what, Hilda, give me a chance. I want to make this work, and I want to make you happy for the rest of your life. That was not the statement that made me give him a second chance. What made me give him a second chance is his fitness when it comes to emotions. He was emotionally fit, and he is emotionally fit. Part of what even triggered this conversation was a post I posted, it must have been 5 days ago, and I was like, having a partner that is emotionally mature is top tier. Like, seriously speaking, they never give you the silent treatment, they never insult you, they hold a space for you, and they want you to grow, they want to push you ahead. As in, what is that? And I was just saying that, you know what, I think I'm just too lucky. I don't know what I did for God to do to give me such a person, but I was so thankful in my heart. And so I thought back, so many people came into my inbox and they were like, but pray for me, because that is not the kind of man I have. And then others were like, I pray that I get that kind of man. I pray that I also pray. I pray that God grants me such kind of happiness. I pray so many people were like, but why did you choose him? Why did you choose him? So So number one was emotionally fit. He was emotionally stable. I have seen Tim, and if you have dealt with Tim, in good times and in bad times, he will still be the same. Like, he will not change. How he deals with people, how he builds relationships, how he deals with people with empathy, how he's judicious about how he handles people. Like, that is because then how you see someone handling other people is exactly how they're going to handle you. When I look at how he handles waiters, how he handles, waitresses, how he handles the people at the gas station, how he, like, whether it's a young person or an old person, he will always hold fort. His emotions will be the same. Whether it's a person that has decided to insult him, when someone has insulted or said something and you felt like maybe he's going to be so furious, all of a sudden you see like he's calm and collected. And you're like, okay, now if it were me in such a situation, tuade tuzifunyako. We were getting into a whole different situation. But again, let me tell you, that is something that is amazing. It is amazing. It's not something that you can go and buy from somewhere. It's not something, it has to be embedded in you, part of your personality trait. Yes, you can learn, because during the couple therapies and the intensives that we do, we usually talk about these things, and the more we talk about them, the more the couples actually embrace them, because then they get to catch themselves in the moment, and they're like, yeah, I was about to be volatile, I was about to go oops, I was about to flare, I was about to go ablaze, but I was able to contain myself. So you see someone clenching their teeth, you see someone speaking small words, you see someone, but they are trying to control themselves. Why? It's not natural inside of them, but they are adapting into a new thing that they think will help their marriage to flourish or their relationship to flourish. Remember, I told you that you are a purpose chaser. You're someone that is meant to change the world. Because then when you have someone stable by you, someone who is emotionally stable by your side, then you will realize that, by the way, you can go to heights that you never imagined you will go. Now, he is that to me, and I know that I am that to him. And just to take you back, there are so many times I told you about the scenario. Still, these are some of the stories that I share sometime, or I've shared for quite some time. There's a time when at the time, the first instance of me to test this in Tim was when we had just gotten into a friendship. Okay, we were just friends. We were not even relating, and so in being friends, he senses and knows that I was in danger at home. Things were not good. Remember, I usually tell you that I come from a broken background. So my mother and father were actually at it, and my mother was the silent one, was the one who was not fighting. My father, however, was the one that was, speaking to the village, was the one doing all those things. And so these particular nights, I remember, I don't know where or how he saw that I was afraid, because I don't even remember sitting him down and narrating my story, because he was just my friend, and I was not brought up in a place where I would go speaking about my, my things. And I was young as well. So he looks at me and he tells me, I sense there's something wrong. I sense like you are so fearful. Is there anything that is happening? So I told him, we will be fine. And then he sensed I was like fasting day in, day out, week in, week out, and was like, okay, can you share with me so that I can share in the burden that I can fast with you, I can pray with you. What is happening? Until after some time I broke down and told him that, you know what, I'm going through certain things. He knew my mother. He was actually a friend to my mother. And so he was like, we are going through certain things, and I think my mother needs to be able to run away for her life, but we have to stay at home. I'm the eldest daughter. I'm the firstborn. That means I must be able to be strong for all my siblings. That means I used to work night shifts, but now I cannot work the night shifts. I need to be able to go back home because I don't know what will happen to my siblings. And so I remember that time he got a phone, and he gave me a phone and told me, that was the very first phone I held. He gave me the phone and told me, go back home, but in case of anything, I have loaded airtime on that phone. Just press my number. I have saved my number in this phone. Just press my number. I will make sure that even if it's past midnight, I will make sure that I come to your home and help out. So I, like, in that moment, I realized I didn't know him like this. He was just a friend of my mother. I didn't know much about him. But for someone to tell you that, you know what, go with this phone, and in case you're in danger, please make sure that you call. It doesn't matter what time of the night, but like, he stayed the same. When I would come find him at work, he would be the same. When we were talking about my issue, like, I found so much confidence to know that my issues were actually they were going to vanish, because he did not, oh, let's go to police, let's do this and let's do this, you know, now maybe you get out of your home, maybe you do. No, he was like, you know what, support your brothers, be there for them, support your sisters, go back home. And so for me, that is when I saw the stability in his emotions that made me stable. And for the longest time, I have learned to be stable because of his stability. Let me tell you, it rubs onto you. When you get a partner and that partner is volatile, it's only a matter of time and you'll become volatile. When you get a partner that is eruptive and disruptive and a drama queen or a drama king, it's only a matter of time. Even when you are too strong, a time will come they will become stronger than you. That's why I tell people that when you stay long in a narcissistic relationship, after some time you develop narcissistic tendencies. You start being manipulative, you start gaslighting, you start lying, and you don't know you're doing this, but because you've been in this surrounding, in this environment for so long where no one sees value in you, and so you've started to see other people as less value, and you disrespect them, and you're no longer loyal, and you omit certain truths, you lie to them. So I have learned over time. I know I was brought up well. My mother did her best job, you know, showed me God, the discipline, that, you know, she was a no-nonsense woman. But for me, I didn't have any older sibling to look up to. That means everything to me was trained from my mother to me. And so I used to catch on to everything. But me getting into a friendship with someone that is emotional, later into a relationship with someone that is emotionally stable, and later into a marriage with someone that is emotionally stable, like, for me, that has been a springboard. When you ask me, oh, how have you made it? Maybe you will get the topical answers of, oh, you know, it's been about God, it's been about, you know, hard work, it's been about, let me tell you, there is nothing that beats a partner that is emotionally fit, that is emotionally stable, that is emotionally intelligent. Nothing beats that. And that only God can provide. Okay, so when I say that my secret sauce is really more about God, is really more about it's not even my hard work, not even my hard work, because let me tell you, I've seen people that work so hard but with emotionally unstable partners, and let me tell you, everything is like washing and putting clothes back in the dirt. It's a mess, it's dramatic, it's disruptive. Okay, and even if someone has a dream, or I don't know as big as what, that alone will zap life out of them. It will suck life out of them. When I talk about emotional stability, and that this person or whoever your person that you choose is the same in bad and good situations. Some people say this, oh, you know, that happened when he lost the job, and then he started drinking, and then he started womanizing, and then he started, now you see, that means there is instability. Like, there is, you know, that person is not stable. They were not able, when they lost the job, something snapped about them. When they lost, as in when something happened, when someone said something about them, they lost it. Okay, so people that keep losing it, it's like you are walking on eggshells. You're like, now I don't know what's going to happen. Or when something happens, you're like, I don't know the kind of person I'm going back to, because you know this person has already flipped and they have changed colors. So do you want to be successful? Do you want to be a person of significance? Do you want to create wealth? Do you want to serve God with all your life and for the rest of your life? Be very careful about the partner that you choose. And if you are already in marriage, I need you to be able to make a self-check and a self-examination. Are you emotionally stable? Are you emotionally fit? Are you emotionally intelligent? okay? And some people, even when it comes to pregnancy, I've had people, oh, emotions have made me lose it. I know, for some people, yes, emotions can be, but I mean, most women, and I will say all women, go through that. But I have never seen, and this is not just bragging, I have seen women that get so happy and thrive during their pregnancies, and then there are those who will be disgusted about everything, even a fly that is moving, even a fly, as in, you try to control yourself, okay? You try to, because this is emotion, controlling your emotions. That is knowing that I am in charge of my emotions. My emotions are not in charge. You don't let your feelings sit on the driver's seat and drive your life. That is why we have seen so many women, when the man says that, you know what, when she got pregnant, I mean, everything became a mess. She would insult, she would quarrel, she would, you know, like she would not want anyone to sit near her. I was smelling for her, and all of a sudden, this man is looking for comfort somewhere else, and some women will say, but you know, that moment, it cannot be explained. Why is it that some women can have the self-control and some women can lose it all? I know that some hormones can be maybe higher than the others, but the moment you know that I'm in charge of my emotions and I don't let them rule over me or guide me or lead me to doing things that I will regret. Some women have said things that they have lived to regret for the rest of their lives, the words that they can never take back in their life. They fought a fight that was not fair. They hit below the belt and now they can never retrieve it, and now they are living in regret because of a situation, because of something that happened. These are 9 months. Can you control yourself and say, these 9 months, however low I go, however low the emotions take me, however high they take me, I'm still going to be Christian, and I'm still going to be respectful, and I'm still going to be I'm still going to be empathetic, I'm still going to be kind, I'm still going to be generous, I'm still going to be a happy being. It is a choice that you make. The moment you just go, oh, but you know, pregnancies treat women bad, pregnancies treat women bad, and then you have taken it in your mind, and now that you feel bad, then you're starting to behave like the whole world is stinking for you. I know it's not an easy time, but I say, and I will say it again, self-control, okay? Self-control. There are so many situations that can make people disruptive, okay? But just like we said, emotionally stable means you show up as the same person through the highs and the lows of life, because life is never going to be straight. Life is going to give you zigzags. Life is going to give you the ups and downs. Life is going to give you the good and the bad. But you must be able to know that when you get money, because some people, by the way, some people have lost their marriages or have lost their relationships because they got money. All of a sudden you get money, you get excited, and then you become unruly. All of a sudden, your emotions now are rolling, okay? And so the other person feels like, you know what, I think I am not that important, I am not that needed. And all of a sudden, some people have left their marriages, but they're still in the marriage, but their hearts are already out because they feel like, how do I manage this? How do I even bridge this gap? How do I even stay with this person for the rest of my life? But because of religion, but because we say the vows, but because I don't want to annoy God, they are still in the proximity and the vicinity, but their hearts are far away. Why? Because someone failed to control their emotions through the highs and through the lows, okay? Someone that can hold fort for you, someone that can hold a space for you. You need that person. All right. Let's keep going, because there are so many things that I want us to be able to talk about. But number 2, I will talk about the spiritual intelligence. The spiritual intelligence, in this, I'm also going to couple it with discernment. Okay, there are some people that are never discerning, and some people that are not spiritually intelligent. Now, when it comes to spiritual intelligence, it's something that is very key, very important in your life, and especially if with your partner, because if two people cannot work together unless they agree. If both of you have the spiritual intelligence, if both of you have the discerning, then you will know the battles that you need to fight. Then you will know when you need to pray. You will know when you need to fast. You will know when you need, as in you will know when you need to read the Bible and commit yourself and take, as in, and walk this journey together and not just walk alone. Yes, I know that when you walk alone, it still works because there are some partners who will refuse to do that. But it even works better when both of you are holding hands and are praying to the same God. There's nothing that beats that. And so many times, there are so many couples that have come to me and they belong to two different sides. One of them is a Muslim, one of them is a Catholic. One of them is a Muslim, one of them is a Protestant. One of them is a Muslim, one of them is a Christian. And because most of the times, it's very rare to fight when it comes to a Protestant and a Pentecostal. Most of the time, there is a way they strike the balance that sometimes even the Protestant will find themselves going to the Pentecostal, or the Pentecostal will go to the Protestant, depending. But I have found that when it comes to the extremes, okay, and they will say, "Oh, I love you," oh, they even want to kiss their necks and their noses and their, you know, calling them boo boo, calling them choo choo, calling them whatever they need to be able to call them. But again, I have seen so many couples that get out of the honeymoon phase and get into the beginning phase, and they start asking themselves, but is this something that I need for the rest of my life? Especially when the children come in and they're like, now where is the child going to go? Is the child going to go to the mosque, or is the child going to go to the church? And then the Muslim is like, my children are not going to the church. And the one that is Pentecostal is saying, my children are not going to the mosque. And so all of a sudden, I have seen people leave others at the hospital after giving birth. I've seen people parting ways after two children. And all of a sudden, they're intensifying their prayers. I've seen a Muslim tell a Pentecostal that, you know what, yeah, put a mat for me. I want to, and every morning at around this time, make sure that you put a mat for me so that I can actually pray. And the Pentecostal is like, oh my God, I got myself into this. And the Pentecostal cannot even watch TV that has Creflo Dollar or Joyce Meyer. When the husband comes, before he even puts his bag down, the first thing he gets is the remote and changes to another station that has things that they want. And all of a sudden, like, you are at loggerheads, but while you were calling yourself choo-choo, boo-boo, and all those things, you were thinking, you know what, yeah, we are done and we are good. Spiritual intelligence, and especially if you subscribe to the same, you pray to the same God, you kneel to the same God, you fast and pray, you battle. You know, the spiritual realm is real, guys. There's so many things that are hindering the prayers that you are praying. Just to know that, you know what, I am going to read the Bible. I'm going to commit myself. I'm going to go for Bible study. I will go for church service. I will, whatever it is that you need to do, as in there has to be a certain level of alignment, okay? And that person has to be able to know and discern. Do you know that when you're the only one discerning and the other person is not discerning at all, you will see something evil coming, you will see something about to happen, and even if you tell them, they're like, you know, you're overthinking it, or you're over, you know, whatever, you're over spiritualizing everything. And maybe there's a warning, maybe you've seen a vision, maybe you've seen a dream, maybe someone has told you about it, and you're like, you know what, let me just engage, you know, and intensify and go deeper. Well, the other person is like, but for you overthink about everything, and then you over imagine things, and then you over, you know. So I need you to be able to, it's so sweet when you have someone, especially when you have a purpose and you have a calling, a higher calling. It's so sweet when you can be able to hold hands and pray and agree about certain things, okay? And fight against certain things and believe against certain things. I remember when they told us that Ariella had a hole on her heart. As in, like, it was so intuitive that I was from 5 days straight on oxygen, nearly, you know, I just fighting for my life, and I'm just waking up and they're telling me that your child has a hole on the heart. And immediately they told me, like, I did not even believe any report. I would have said, oh, you know, bad luck, you know, I've gone through this, through the pregnancy, I've gone through that, and then I've gone through that. I was like, no, not my daughter. And I remember that Tim didn't say anything, but in his heart of hearts, he was actually saying the same. He was like, no, not my daughter. And immediately, we both went into a spiritual warfare. We went into, just imagine a person who has been 5 days straight on oxygen. I was barely understanding the things of the world and what was happening. I was just laid on the bed, and the doctors would come. They would not even turn me for injections. They would just inject the thighs and everywhere, because I mean, I was nearly losing it. And so I wake up and I get this bad news. Just imagine the courage that I get to say, no, not my daughter. And not if God is alive. Okay, I mean, I'm going to engage. I'm holding my stomach because I just had a C-section, and it's the first time I'm walking. Everything is just a mess. And I have to walk, for those of you that know Zambia, I have to walk from the theater. I have to go up to the nursery because they would not allow to bring the baby. The baby had to stay in the nursery. And so I get there, and then someone is giving you this bad news without even any kind of, I don't think they had the empathy and the kindness to know that this is a mother who has been on oxygen for 5 days, and it's the first time she's coming to nursery, and this is the news that you're giving to her, and point blank, like nothing. So do you see how sometimes you need to be emotionally stable as a person? Because then if such news hits you and you're emotionally unstable, let me tell you, like all hell will break loose. But the moment they told me, I was still holding the door. I was just in the doorway. I had not even reached the bed where my daughter was, and the nurse was telling me. I remember she was a young nurse. I think she was even an intern. And I was like, you know what, not my daughter. And I remember Tim afterwards, he was like, I said the same thing, and then I went into prayer immediately. And how he calmly and collectedly told them that, you know what, it's okay, let's do the tests, and then there is only one machine, and then there is what, and we will wait, let's do the tests, let's do all these things. But in his heart of heart, he's praying, I am praying, and we are praying to the same God, we are believing for the same result. No wonder afterwards, when we go to actually have the privilege of having the machine availed, and the doctors were able to test, they told us that, you know what, no, it's a small one, but with time it will actually patch up. And in our hearts of hearts, we were like, even that report, we are not saying yes to it. One thing we believe is our daughter is fine and she will never get a problem. And so at home we went, and we never even looked back. We never even, went ahead to follow up or look for it or something like that. For us, we believe that she was fine, and indeed she is fine, and she has never had any problem. So you realize that being spiritually intelligent, mature, and facing in the same direction, being discerning, okay, is very, very important. Okay, so let's go. People that have courageous visions. Let me tell you, if you're someone that wants to go far and you envision that you're going to hold businesses and you're going to build empires, make sure that you have a person that has a courageous vision. Now, this is something that you can even get even if you're married right now, or you've been married for 10 years or 20 years, and you've been asking yourself, or you just don't have any sense of direction, you feel like giving up on life, you feel like things are not moving. Let me tell you, I have people of 55 and 57 and 54 in the mentorship class. And guess what? Some of them, it's some of the younger girls that told them that, oh, I'm in this mentorship with Coach Bahati, and we talk about personal branding, we talk about finding our purpose, and then, we're doing well. Why don't you come? And some of these people come very fearful, and they're like, but I am old, 58, really? And I'm like, you know what? If you really feel there's something lacking, there's something you need in your life, that is a sign to show that there is more in life for you, and it is never too late for you. And some of them are mesmerized when they clearly define their purpose, when they start practicing their purpose. Some of their husbands turn around and they're like, I didn't know that you're this gifted. I didn't know that you're this, you have this vision, you have this dream inside of you. So many of us have killed our dreams. But let me tell you, that is not helping your marriage, okay? The moment you shrink your dream and kill your purpose and not find what it is or unveil what it is, let me tell you, that means you don't have any target in life. There is nothing for you to live for. There is nothing for you to work towards. And let me tell you, a person that has something to work towards, they will not sweat the small things. battles. They will not fight the small battles. They will choose their battles wisely. Like, seriously, why would I? Yesterday, my sister was asking me, she was telling me about her gym practice and what, and she was asking me, so what do you do as your me time? What do you do? And I was like, let me tell you, my me time, I'm always either shooting a video, or I'm always researching about something, or I'm always reading about something. Yes, I do. I have an exercise routine, but I don't call that as part of my me time, because I do it at home and I do it with my children. But when it comes to reading, when it comes like there is something, I have a purpose, I have a goal, and every day I wake up to take another step closer to my goal. I wake up looking for solutions for other people. I go to bed thinking about them. I go to bed planning templates, planning, worksheets, planning answers for other people. And let me tell you, that is so sweet, because, when will Mr. Sabiti ever hear me quarrel about certain things or even complain about certain things? Like, literally, I don't have the time. I don't have the time. The time that I have is to make sure that my family is happy, my husband is happy, my children are happy. And then I know that I have so many people that I help on a daily, and I'm not about to drop that ball. I'm always at it, and I'm always focused, and I'm always targeted. So get something. Target something, okay? Walk towards something. Have a courageous vision. You are in path to something. You are in your way to something. Do you know how exciting that is? That means you cannot be angered, just easily angered. You can never be annoyed. You will not go to places where you're not supposed to go. You will not poke your nose in conversations where you do not belong. Literally, you will have defined your path and your lane, and you will drink your water and mind your business and do the work that God called you to do, and you will be the happiest for the rest of your life. And most of the people in your life will be the happiest. So if you are a person that has a vision, that has a purpose, that has a higher calling, that wants to create wealth, you envision all those big dreams, be careful about the person that you bring into your life. Do they have a vision as well? Are they heading somewhere? Or for them, they have arrived. That, some of them are like, when I get married to him, I'll just have, just cook bananas and nuts, and then, we will be kinsing all the time, and then, I'll be going with him everywhere. I will be doing all these things. People have imaginations, and then boom, you get married. You get married, and you have to pursue. You have to go after money. You have to work hard. You work, and this person feels like, oh, but no one is giving me time. And all of a sudden, they're starting to complain. I'm not saying don't give time. Yes, give time. But sometimes there are people that do not have an aim in life, and so they have a lot of redundant time. And even we all know that the idle mind is a devil's workshop. You will think about everything that is not even true. Why? Because you do not have any sense of vision. You have nothing that you are working towards. And visions are developed, and then visions are deployed. So most of us have not even taken time to find our vision, to find our purpose. And even when we talk about these programs of mentorship, and we're like, okay, this is what we mentor you in, some of you are like, but those ones need money, those ones need what? But it's for your own good, that you will be able to align your life to the calling that God has predestined for you, that you will do the work that which God predestined for you, that the reason as to why you are here. So I need you to be able to find that, because that's going to help. And this is for both men and women. Okay, if you're a man and you actually lack purpose and you lack vision, let me tell you, you're an accident. You are an accident, okay? And you are going to break even the woman in your life. You can be the woman who has a vision, who is running towards something, and the man is dragging you down. You can be the man that has a vision and is running towards something, and the woman is dragging you down. And you have the constant battles, and you want to kick them away. And you still want, because for you, when you have a calling, when you have a vision, when God opens up your mind to your purpose, you feel like you should chase without ceasing. And so you feel like everyone that means your conversations no longer align. That is why I say, as couples, you need to be able to grow together. The moment you grow alone, a time comes when you feel like this person cannot contain your level of intelligence, your level of maturity, your level of growth, and level of conversation. So that means you're going to look for other people to have conversations with, because every time you even try to bring a conversation, you are bored because the other person has nothing to contribute in that conversation. All right? So Let's talk about compassionate support, all right? Because we're talking about the qualities that really make marriage interesting and booming. And so you are able to do a lot more in your life than just existing. We don't want to exist, guys. We want to be able to perform so well in our lives. So a person that compassionately supports you. Wow. That is another thing I can say that I don't think anything beats that. So there are so many things today I'm going to talk about not being able to beat that. A person that can compassionately support. When you talk about that in the Bible, that is the Proverbs 31 woman that they usually talk about. Oh, that is the woman that the Bible talks about, that a foolish woman tears down her own house with her own hands. But again, when you flip it, that means a wise woman builds her home, supports her home with her own hands. Okay, a person that is compassionate in support is not a person who supports and then goes bragging, oh, I'm the reason as to why she's there, oh, I'm the reason as to why he got those things, oh, I'm the reason as to why he did that. No, sometimes when you're a couple, when you are working together, sometimes you even don't know who is supporting what, because the inter-supportedness is, has gone beyond, okay? How you support someone and how they support you. Where you are weak, they are strong. And where you are strong, you hold their hand. Just imagine you're both leaning onto each other. You're both using each other's strength to keep going. You're both in your low moments. You're like, you know what, pray over me. I need a covering. You know, you run to him. And if you're a woman, he's the priest of your home. He's the head of your home. You kneel down and you're like, put your hands on me. Lay your hands on me, pray over me. I feel a certain emptiness. I feel a certain void. I feel a certain uncertainty. Please pray over me. Let me tell you, for me, nothing beats the prayers of my husband. Whenever I am going out to speak, whenever I'm going out to do something and he tells me that, you know what, may God go before you, may God use you mightily, may God deliver the people that are going to listen to this, may God give you the articulation of the word and the message that you're going to deliver. Like for me, I go and I'm like, you know what, I can conquer the world. Like I can conquer the world because the person that is closest to me believes in me and he supports me and he would love to see me win. Guys, there is nothing pathetic as being in a marriage or a relationship where you're constantly bickering. When will you serve God? When will you fulfill your purpose? When will you focus your eyes on your vision, on your dream? When will you run in the direction of your dreams? When you are bickering, when you are backbiting, when you are, and you not supporting each other, pulling yourselves down. I have seen men tell their women, you really think whatever you're saying is making a difference. We have had those words. There are so many. I have seen women tear down their men and they're like, the first one to do that. There are so many people that have done it. Even the people that are listening to you are just listening to you for the sake. I have seen people do that. And the woman decides. I have so many women that come to me and they're like, you know what, I have not even told my husband about anything that I am doing, because apparently whenever I tell him anything that I am doing, he calls me stupid. He says I'm foolish. No one will ever listen to me. I will never amount to anything. Just imagine, this is a person you love. This is a person you've had children with. This is a person you envision to stay with for the rest of your life. But you can never even have any sweet word, any nice word from them, and leave alone that you were talking about her with another person, but you are saying it in her hearing, and you're calling her daft, and you're calling her dense, and you're telling her that nothing good will ever come out of her. Then that shows that you're actually dense. That shows that you're backward. That shows that you're foolish. That shows that whatever it is that you are abusing her or insulting her with or pulling her down with, that means that is you. So now you are projecting your insecurity and your lack of emotional stability and your lack of vision and your lack of leadership skills. Then you are projecting. So when you sit down and ask yourself, why am I being jealous? Why am I being insecure? Why can't I let her pursue her purpose? Because even when you married her, she has a purpose for which God called her. Even when you got married to him, he has a purpose for which God called him. Okay? So your union is meant to boost his calling. Your union is meant to boost her calling. You're supposed to push her. You're supposed to pray her up. You're supposed to remind her. You're supposed to tell her. Let me tell you, there's so many times that Tim will give me will tell me certain things, and I'll be like, do you really mean them? I was like, and he'll be like, but I wouldn't say them if I didn't mean them. I was like, do you know how many people you're helping in this nation? Do you know how many people you're helping worldwide? Do you know that testimonies, sometimes when people send testimonies or they send something on my phone and then I read it to him and then he's like, so now do you see what I usually tell you? So now am I the one, am I lying? Am I just saying it because I'm your partner? That person does not know what we've been talking about. That means they feel something. By the time they say that, they mean something. They mean something. Someone sent me a message recently saying that that ever since they got into the mentorship, and they got to know about God, they were actually Muslim, and now they committed their lives to God. And in 1 month, God has done for them what did not happen in the past 10 years. And yet in the past 10 years, they had been praying in their religion, but they were not so sure about what they were praying. It was not certain because they were not using their own words. They were using words that were given to them to pray. And now they're like, now I can actually articulate what I need from God. I can pray. I know. And let me tell you, he has done wonderful things in my life. And so when I read the message to Tim, he was like, do you see what I keep telling you? And sometimes I'm like, yeah, but for me, yes, I feel good about the testimonies, but the testimonies, I don't get carried away about the testimonies, because for me, what I am driving towards and running towards is much bigger, much bigger. And so everything that is happening here is not something that can make me settle, or not something that can make me smile and I'm like, oh, I've even done anything. I feel like I have just started, I have not done anything, and I've not yet achieved anything. So compassionate support. Be compassionate while you are supporting. Remember, you are walking towards the same destiny. You want a happy ending. You want to be victorious. You want to be wealthy. You want to pass on generational wealth to your children's children. You want to pass on inheritance. Okay? So can you start now and be that person who is compassionate at supporting your partner? And then something else that I want us to talk about is being open-minded. Some people are just too closed-minded. Too closed-minded. When someone brings up a project, when someone brings up an idea, or as in you're always shutting it down. You're always, comparing it to something. You always have examples of how it never worked or how you think it will never work. Some of us are too pessimistic. Like we are always looking for something to go wrong. Can we be open-minded? There is nothing that beats an open-minded partner, because when you bring something to them, even when they feel like there's something a bit off, most of the times they will dwell on the positive and they will tell you it's possible. I think it needs a bit of panel beating. I think we need to think about it more. We need to sleep on it. We need to take some time as we pray about it. But they will encourage you about the good that they have seen. The good could be 30%. The good could be 20%. But they're open-minded, and you can see they're talking about it with a lot of openness. Okay, sometimes I bring issues and my ideas to Tim, and so I table them at the least expected moment. And sometimes he has a way of telling me that, Hilda, you have begun in the middle of a thought and I don't know the background of the thought, so can you take me back to the background? And like literally every time, that's what I do. I be thinking my own thoughts, either we are driving or we've gone for dinner or I'm thinking my own thoughts, and all of a sudden I start from the middle and I'm like, but do you think this can work? And then boom, I've put it there. And then he's saying, Hilda, give me some background, because I think you've been thinking about this thing and now you are well acquainted about it and now you're bringing it to me, but I don't know where you started this thought process. And so now I have to go back to the thought process. And most of the time, like, he sees possibilities even where I see impossibilities. And sometimes I'm like, am I the one that is not, like, what am I missing? And then he will connect the dots, and he will tell you how it can work, and he will tell you who to contact, and he will tell you how this is a good thought, this is a wonderful thought, you know, don't even take some time, make sure that you initiate it, make sure that, and you're like, wow, wow. And the same thing, when he comes to me with all his projects and with all his, you know, he loves those designing houses and doing this many open kitchens and doing open studio what and doing, and so most of the time when he comes, he will take me to a place to see or something to see, or it will even just be a drawing, and then he will be like, he will get a pen and he will be so enthusiastic how he draws, how he looks at the plan of the house and how, and sometimes when someone is small-minded and they're actually not open-minded at all, they will always be low and they'll be like, but where are those things taking us or something? But let me tell you, when he's looking, you should see us when we are conversing. Half the time we're like young kids. I'm like, wow, that is really, and by the way, I'm not half the time because he has genius ideas. And I'm like, I didn't know that in such a small space, actually, a big house like that can actually be built. You sure we can get 3 bedrooms out of that space? And he's like, yes, if we can only break this wall and break that wall. And in my heart of hearts, I'm like, what? Let's do it. I was like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, let's go for it. And before you know it, you have done it. It has turned out like very beautiful. And you both are in a space where you're like, wow, we did it. But who did it? He actually did it. All I had was an open mind, okay? And an open mind can be about so many things, about the ventures, about the partnerships that people have, about the traveling, about the, you know, the spending, about the helping, by the way. You know, when someone is just telling you that, you know what, oh, we need to help so-and-so, and we need to help so-and-so, and sometimes you're like, yeah, you would have said, you know, but we have not yet finished this, but we are not finished this. So a closed-minded person will bring everything to fail, whatever has been brought to table. But an open-minded person will be like, yeah, I think we can help. I think this project can wait, and this can wait, and this can wait. As in, they're trying to accommodate what the other person feels, and not just for the sake of accommodating, but even with the reasoning of, by the time they decided it that way, that means, okay, it's really, really important to them, number one. But number two, he has thought about how we can figure out the rest that we need to be able to figure out. So can we go through them together in order for me to get to where you are? Take me through. What have we thought about this? We had this, and then we had this. And then after he explains, that means now I know that he also had them in mind while he was thinking about the charity. So I'm like, you know what? Let's go for it. Let's help that person. We can always come back and clear whatever we need to clear. So you realize, but some people are always at the loggerhood, the loggerheads. They're always fighting. They're always, you know, someone is saying something, someone is shushing you. You're saying, but you're not thoughtful. But again, you're not considerate. But then you're not. And I'm not saying that weigh in. I'm not saying that that please don't weigh in. I'm saying weigh in, but with an open mind. When someone is weighing in, but with an open mind, you will still tell. When someone is weighing in with a closed mind, they will even be annoyed. They will even feel disgusted. They will feel like you're not deciding in their best interest. They will feel like you're doing your own thing. But remember, this is your thing. Two people cannot work together unless they agree. The things that I'm talking about are things that I know are going to take you to a place where you are so super happy. Guys, there is nothing that makes me happy than seeing people that have chosen to be deliberately happy, especially a couple. I know that there is no marriage, a bed of roses, and you know everything is good. But let me tell you, a time can come when you look at each other, especially if you have some of the traits that we have talked about. You look at each other and you're like, look at the journey that we have moved, okay? There is support from each other. There is spiritual intelligence. There is compassionate support. There is open-mindedness. There is the courageous vision. There is the being emotionally fit and stable. And the last one I will talk about is resiliently resourceful. A person that is resourceful. A person that, you know, will go to the moon and back and try to make things happen and try to make things, and like they are they think, okay? They think, they come up with something. They can never do something haphazardly, you know, that even if you don't give them everything or the full roadmap, they will always find a way. Like everything is figure-outable, you know. Even as employers, we look for people who are resourceful. A person who is resourceful is not a person who will say, but I don't know. But no, when you need to feed your family, you need to feed your family. When you need to show up, you need to show up. When you need to be strong, you need to be strong. No one has given us a roadmap for marriage and told us that at 2 years, this is going to happen. At 3 years, this is going to happen. At 4 years, this is going to happen. There's going to be a zigzag in life. There's going to be ups and downs. But even in ups and downs, there will always be a resourceful partner that shows you that, by the way, you know, I am not done. I am still fighting, okay? I am still fighting even tomorrow. We are going to be better. You know, don't give, we are going to be okay. So they are figuring it out as they go along. But some people resign to the fact that, you know what, I think I am defeated. I think, just imagine someone loses a job. I've given an example so many times, which I will not give again. But someone loses a job and then all of a sudden they don't go looking for a job. And someone tells them that, you know what, you need to look for a job. And then they have the audacity to say, you get it for me. As in, they are not resourceful, okay? No one told them that a day will come and you'll be out of job, or you will not have a job. But when the job goes away, the next thing you'll see, a person that is resourceful is calling someone. The next thing is they're looking for the skills that they've been having all along that they can fall back to. Before you know it, they're connecting with someone. They're not seated. They're not folding arms. They're not crying and saying, you know what, I am dead and this is the end of the world. No, they are out there trying to make ends meet, and they're not giving in. That is being resourceful. That is bouncing back each time. You need a partner who is like that. Otherwise, if you have a partner who says, I am finished, every time any small thing happens, that means, I mean, every time you have to be rescuing. Every time you have to carry the load again. Just imagine if the person is resiliently resourceful and you're also resiliently resourceful. That means every time you're bouncing back, even your children look at you and they're like, wow, I have never seen a couple like my mother and father. Those two people, they will go to the moon and back for each other. They will stand in a place of prayer. They will stand in a place of belief. They will shield each other's back. They will have each other's back. Go and be that. You know, do a self-audit in your marriage. Have you been all these things? Are you resiliently resourceful that they will leave you home and there will be no sauce, and you will not say, oh, we can't eat because there is no sauce. You will come up with something. Even as children, we used to plan something, you know. I remember one time we ate posho and wheat flour that we had, you know, put salt into water and put salt into, and that was the sauce. And why? Because I'm the firstborn, I've been left home and there is no food, and I know clearly I can get posho from the shop, and then we had some little flour, wheat flour at home, and so I was like, you know what, let me just do that. I just did a kilo of posho, mingled it, and then I got the wheat flour and then mixed it in water, put it on, you know how it becomes thick, and then it starts boiling, and then I put in salt, and then I put in, I think we had some curry and something like that. I put it in, and I served on every plate of my sibling. We sat down and actually ate. By the time my mother had came back, because she had also gone, like the situation was bad, she had also gone out to look for something, and so by the time she came, she was like, what happened, you know, and they dying? I was like, no, we ate posho and wheat flour. And she was like, my goodness, like she even laughed in her bad situation. She laughed and she was like, thank you, at least there is something in their belly, at least they are not, you know, at least they are not hungry and they are not starving. So be resourceful. Be resourceful. Don't say, those things, I don't know about his things. Can you be concerned about his things? Oh, but you know, but this land, you know, they're about to take it or something is happening. But he knows better with his things. His things, you are in his life, okay? So be resourceful. Figure out anything, a way, okay? That, oh, I was not able to take a child to hospital because I didn't have money. Can anyone say that? Be resourceful. Be resourceful, okay? So I need you to just look into that. If you're not yet married, you have a chance to actually, and these things you cannot find them on a dating app. You can only create a friendship, and that friendship will tell you who someone is, and you're able to make a sober decision while you're getting into marriage. When someone loses a job, they will stop calling you, they will call you names, they will do this, and then I want you to think and say, if they can do this while we are dating, that means it's going to be 3 times, that when we are married. Is that something that I can be able to handle? If you're already married, go on and do a self-audit. You want to create a happy environment, and the other party also wants to create a happy environment so that you will have a happy marriage. But more than anything for me, it's about chasing your purpose. It's about transforming lives. It's about you being happy and being successful, and you cannot have a success without these things. I love you guys, and may God bless you.